Many people would be sheepish in their 50s. Oh, but geez, I never did a will. I hear you, but you're doing it now. And that's what's important. Meet them where they are. I think we need to do a better job of educating people as to the benefits of doing it.
This is Hourglass, the podcast for United Way of King County in Seattle. Coming up, we'll chat about legacy giving, a way to make charitable donations through one's estate plan. This type of giving allows people to support causes or donations even after they pass on. In this episode, we'll discuss legacy giving with James McBain, the Senior Vice President and Regional Director of Wealth Planning and Trust Advisory at U.S. Bank Private Wealth Management, and Jennifer Trice, United Way Principal Gift Officer. We'll also discuss United Way's free tax preparation campaign and the local volunteer opportunity. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for tuning in. What do Pablo Picasso, Prince, and Howard Hughes have in common? According to Business Insider, each died without having crafted a last will and testament, or a legal document that states, among other things, how an individual's assets should be distributed after the person dies. When it comes to making decisions about assets, the aforementioned famous people are not alone. According to Caring.com, a site that offers information for caregivers, more than 2/3 of Americans do not have wills. And the lack of a will means that state laws often determine how the deceased's assets will be distributed. But let's face it, talking about wills means talking about death. And that's a topic most of us don't want to discuss. That is why United Way of King County seeks to make such conversations easier. We are among many nonprofit organizations that encourage legacy giving, a way to make a charitable donation through one's estate plan. This type of giving allows people to support causes or donations even after they pass on. For this episode of Hourglass, we've invited Jennifer Trice, United Way Principal Gift Officer, to talk about our legacy giving. But you'll still need to prepare a will. So we've invited James McBain, the Senior Vice President and Regional Director of Wealth Planning and Trust Advisory at U.S. Bank Private Wealth Management, to chat about the things you need to know about understanding and preparing wills. We begin with James, who talks about the importance of crafting a will that complies with state laws.
Some people will try to write down what they think they want to have happen, but it's important when doing a will that one comply with their state requirements for validity. In Washington state, we need 2 witnesses to witness a will. In many states, you can do what's called a holographic will, where you write down what you want, sign your name, and it's valid. That's not valid here in Washington. You need the witnesses along with it. So it's very important to make sure that you follow whatever the rules are in the place where you live.
And when you say witnesses, do you need someone to be there when you write it out, or do you need someone to have read it and signed it for validity?
They need to sign when you sign. So they need to see you sign it. They don't need to read it or know what it contains. They just need to see you sign the will.
Okay. If someone passes away, hasn't written a legal will, what happens then?
So if they're married, generally the estate's going to pass to the spouse if it's community property. If there's any separate property, it gets divided between the spouse and any children. So state laws all over the country create what's referred to as a system of descent and distribution. And those laws determine who receives an estate. And it's generally a surviving spouse or children, or if there are none of those, then we look up the family tree to parents. And if no parents are surviving, then we drop down the other branches of the tree over to the siblings. So state law is trying to find somebody who would take. If there's no one at all, then generally the property escheats to the state. And then the state holds it until someone makes a claim for it. And if they don't claim, then it ends up with the state of Washington.
How long is that claim? Do they wait before someone makes a claim?
I think for escheat purposes, and I need to confirm this, but I believe it's 6 years.
Wow.
Where somebody can still make a claim and say, hey, I was a family member who should have received. But that's very unusual when it happens, because generally when somebody passes, there is a desire to get the assets to at least some family member. So escheats are fairly rare.
Okay, and so if I'm listening to this and I'm interested in donating to a charity, what kind of advice would you give someone?
The first things are, when do they want to do it?
Okay.
Are they intending it to be a bequest so it takes effect at death? Or are they intending to do something now? And if they want to do it now, they should really be thinking about what are they trying to accomplish in terms of which charity or which programs they want to support. One of the benefits of giving to United Way is the breadth of the programming and the depth in the community in terms of the types of organizations that are supported. But they should also be thinking about which assets they're ready to give away. Do they want to write a check? That's the simplest. Would they prefer to give something else like securities or like a distribution out of a retirement plan if they're an older person with the ability to do that? So they really need to think through kind of the who, what, and when are the big priorities.
And so if someone has done that but hasn't notified other living relatives, does that ever come into play? And if so, how?
You mean with a bequest, you mean?
Right.
Yes, frequently. A lot of people don't want to share their will with their relatives, and the will might say, I'm leaving a certain percentage or all of the estate to a charity. I've certainly seen that before, where the person intends they want to support the charity, and they figure they've helped their family members during lifetime, or the family are in a situation where they can do it, and they just want to support the charity. So frequently. A lot of people don't like talking about a will or talking about their own demise. Mm-hmm. So many people don't want to share it. Either they've been brought up that way where it wasn't done in their family or in their culture, or it was just not something that they ever thought they wanted to do. But they felt strongly enough to do a will and leave something to charity.
Okay, so how do you bridge that gap?
That's hard. It really is. I try to speak with people. When I was in law practice, I spoke with a lot of clients about doing this and making them feel it's okay that they would come in and not have done it before. Many people would be sheepish in their 50s. Oh, geez, I never did a will. I hear you, but you're doing it now. And that's what's important. Meet them where they are. I think we need to do a better job of educating people as to the benefits of doing it. I mean, there are reasons all along someone's life when they ought to do it. When they have young kids, most important thing, name a guardian for the children.
Great.
When they're much older, think about what you're trying to accomplish. What's the legacy that you want to leave? Wills are very powerful.
And so can you just give some examples of someone who really thought about doing it, didn't do it, you told them about doing it, and they did it, and how it made them feel, that if they really said, okay, I'm so glad that I had this conversation with Jim McBain because it was something I should have done, and I'm glad I did it.
It's nice of you to ask. It's remarkably rewarding. That was by far the best part of going through the process, is seeing how the clients would feel once they were done, once they had signed their name to the will and felt like I've made these hard decisions. I had a client who came in years ago who had always wanted to do a will, couldn't get there, couldn't do it, just felt like once they made the decisions, then they would die. And there's no causal effect between signing a will and passing away from what I've been told. But for a lot of people, talking about it is so hard. But I'll always remember, she and I talked. She had a lot of things she wanted to do. She supported charities her whole life. When she was a child, she used to use a moon jar to give a portion of even her allowance away. And as she got older and she never married, she really wanted to make sure that she was giving to charities that were important to her. And she knew that had she not done a will at all, her estate would have passed, her parents had passed, would have passed to her brother. And they got along fine. He just didn't need the money. So she spent some time, picked out the charities that she really wanted to support, let them know, which is somewhat unusual. A lot of people don't do that, and I think they should. I think more people should let the charities know. And then after she signed up, she felt delighted. And the other thing that I really enjoyed is then she also started giving with annual gifts, because she felt like she had done this, her estate was set up. Now she wanted to have a contact. Now she wanted to learn more about programming and things she could do. She started going to events. She felt more connected actually with the community. I think there's just incredible power behind her owning this process and taking advantage of it. And it was a real positive for her.
That is great. If you are a charity and you're looking to get, that is also very uncomfortable.
Oh, maybe. But I guess, Joe, the way I would look at it, and part of it, I guess, is because I did this for so long, is that there's a little humor that goes along with it. We all know that we're going to die. We all know at some point we'll leave this mortal coil. I actually think it might be an easier ask to lean a little harder on people and say, oh, come on, your kids don't need one more plasma TV. I'm dating myself. Nobody watches plasma TV. I get it. But the idea is, what do you really want to do? Take control. Take control of your assets. Leave a legacy. Leave a portion. The day before you died, your kids didn't have your estate. The day after you died, if they get 75% of it, that's still quite a bit more than they had the day before.
Absolutely.
And then you're leaving something to charity. You're leaving that legacy. Your kids will probably feel good that you did it too. So I think if I were out there saying to people, I'd want to do it with a little bit of humor and say, we know we're all going to die. But when you die, I know you want to do something good. I know you were a part of the community during your life. How about if you keep that on afterward? And I think people are more willing to talk about it once somebody opens the door, because I think at first it's such a taboo topic. But then once you open the door and realize, hey, I'm going too, at some point, hopefully not tomorrow, but I think it opens it, and then people want to talk about it. They really, really do. I felt like when I would talk with clients about what do you want your will to say, what are you trying to accomplish, I often had a hard time getting a word in edgewise.
Wow.
Because they were wanting. Somebody finally asked the question. And now they get to talk about really what they wanted. And, I saw somebody go through this and it was terrible and their kids fought. So people have stories. This is as much storytelling as anything else. And we want to listen to them and be connected to them. And I think that's what people are looking for.
This episode of Hourglass comes on the eve of the April 15th tax day. Jennifer Trice, United Way Principal Gift Officer, says that legacy giving can also benefit folks when filing their taxes.
If you're thinking about taxes in relation to estate planning, know that making United Way a beneficiary of your IRA is also a smart way to plan a future gift, since nonprofits don't have to pay taxes on those types of gifts, unlike a family member would. It's simple and easy to do through a change on your beneficiary designation form. There's a lot of need in our community right now, and you could potentially make a greater gift with asset giving than giving through cash alone. Go to our website, click on that big red Give button, and scroll down to Other Ways to Give and explore all the options. We're here to help answer any question.
And James says that for anyone interested in legacy giving, the most important thing to do is take action.
Sit down, have a cup of coffee, piece of paper, and a pen. I'm old-fashioned. Some people pull out a laptop. Write down what you want. Who are the people close to you who would help with this? And even before we get to the charitable stuff, I need to put in a plug. When doing an estate plan, do a power of attorney. Most important thing you can do, because you'll be possibly incapacitated, disabled, and you'd love somebody to help take care of you. Think about the people in your life who are important. Write them down. And then once you've done that, start writing down, if something happened, who would you want to support? Who are the types of charities? Who are the people? Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a relative, but maybe a lot of that should be spent on what types of charities do you want to support? Think about it. Go through the process first. Don't just call the lawyer and assume you're going to start with that. Have some goals, have some objectives in mind before you go in. There are lots of checklists on the internet. You can search up estate planning checklist or questionnaire. It'll pull out some of these things. But one of the things I think is really important is when you look at those and they ask who all the people are, but at the end they usually say, so where do you want this to go? And that's where clients really stop and they freeze up and they don't know. Part of it's because for many people, they're either authors or editors. An author has to take a blank piece of page and write down where they want it to go. An editor looks and says, 2/3 to the kids, 1/3 to charity. Okay, maybe, but what if it was 80%, 20%? Then they're editing. And once they're editing, they oftentimes feel a little bit more powerful to cross out, to circle, and to update. That helps. I actually think their first step ought to be trying to write it down. But if they need help, ask friends. Hear other stories. Write your own story. That's what the will's supposed to do.
I didn't hear notary mentioned.
No, and it depends on the state. In Washington, you don't need a notary for a will. Most people think you do, and a lot of lawyers will draft so that it has a notary attached, and that's generally good advice, because depending on where the person dies and where they need to introduce the will for probate, other states have notary requirements. So I think there is a benefit to saying we want the witnesses to sign and then maybe have a notary, but it's not required here in Washington. So,
and the witnesses can be family members?
I'd rather they weren't.
Wow.
And in general, there are just rules about what are called interested witnesses.
Okay.
And in most states, interested witnesses there's a presumption that there was something going on that they were willing to sign, knowing they would receive a part of the estate. It doesn't say that they're fully disqualified, but I certainly think it's a far better practice to have people who are unrelated. When you go into the lawyer's office, have the lawyer and the paralegal or somebody else in the office sign completely unrelated to the person signing the will. That's kind of the best practice, I think.
Awesome. James McBain, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Joe.
As Jennifer said, for more information about legacy giving to United Way of King County, log on to our website at uwkc.org and click on the Give icon. It's tax time again, and United Way of King County is offering free tax services to individuals who make less than $80,000 a year, or less than $96,000 for non-single filers. Funded by United Way, the IRS, and the City of Seattle, the free tax preparation campaign runs until Sunday, April 19th. Services are available at more than a dozen locations across King County, including El Centro de la Raza and West Seattle Community Resource Center in Seattle, Hope Link in Shoreline, South Center Mall in Tukwila, and the Public Health Center in Kent. Virtual service is also available through our online tax site. United Way tax preparation specialists will help clients understand their tax situations and take advantage of refunds like the Earned Income Credit, the Child Tax Credit, and the Working Families Tax Credit. Last year, our free tax campaign served more than 12,000 people and leveraged more than $16 million in tax refunds. And we look forward to preparing your taxes this year. For more information, log on to freetaxexperts.org. Interested in a volunteer opportunity? Sound Generations is seeking volunteers to join its Meals on Wheels program. Located in Seattle, Sound Generations promotes the social, emotional, and physical well-being of older adults through a network of community connections and services. Sound Generations Meals on Wheels program provides well-balanced, nutritious, ready-to-eat meals each week, with home delivery and specialized options like vegetarian and kosher meals. As a Meals on Wheels volunteer, you'll be part of a team that delivers meals to homebound seniors. Sound Generations is looking for drivers and meat packers to support deliveries in SeaTac. For more information, log on to soundgenerations.org. At United Way of King County, we are working side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Hourglass United Way is a podcast that highlights how we and our partners spend time making a difference in our communities. Our work is made possible by the generous donations from people like you. Please send comments and suggestions about our podcast to hourglassunitedway@gmail.com. To learn more about our work or to support United Way, log on to uwkc.org. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for listening. Until next time.